The disappearance of Madeleine McCann has captivated thousands of people from across the world ever since she disappeared on May the 3rd of 2007. Madeleine was on vacation with her parents, Kate and Gerry McCann, along with her 2-year-old twin siblings and a group of family friends and their children. The McCanns arrived on Saturday, 28 April 2007 in Praia da Luz. It is a village in Portugal known as Little Britain for its high concentration of British homeowners and holidaymakers. They were placed in 5A Rua Drive, Agostinho de Silva. It is one of the several properties rented to holidaymakers. 5A was a 2-bedroom ground floor apartment in a group of apartments known as Waterside Village. This is a picture showing the step from Rua Drive to the patio doors of 5A. Then this is the front side of the resort. This is Madeleine's bed. And this is Madeleine's pink and white Eeyore pajamas. The 3rd of May was the penultimate day of their vacation. The children spent the morning in the resort's kids club. The family then lunched at their apartment before heading to the pool. Afterwards, the kids went back to the kids club. At 6 p.m. that night, their mother took them back to the apartment, while their dad had a tennis lesson. The McCanns put their children to bed at 7 p.m. Madeleine was left asleep in short-sleeved, pink and white Eeyore pajamas, next to her comfort blanket and a soft toy cuddle cat. At 8:30 that night, the parents left 5A to go to dinner with their friends in the open-air Ocean Club's restaurant. It is about 55 meters or 160 feet away from 5A. The top of the apartment was visible from the restaurant, but not the doors. The patio doors could be locked only from the inside, so the McCanns left them closed but unlocked, with the curtains drawn, so they could let themselves in that way when checking on the children. There was a child safety gate at the top of the steps from the patio and a low gate at the bottom, which led to the street. The resort staff had left a note in a message book at the swimming pool reception area, asking that the same table which overlooked the apartments be block booked for 8:30 for the McCanns and friends every evening for the last 4 evenings of the holiday. The message said the group's children were asleep in their apartments. Madeleine's mother believes the abductor may have seen the note. The McCanns and their friends left the restaurant roughly every half hour to check on their children. Madeleine's father carried out a first check on 5A at around 5 minutes past 9. The children were asleep and all was well, except that he recalled having left the children's bedroom door slightly ajar, and now it stood almost wide open. He pulled it nearly closed again before returning to the restaurant. Madeleine's mother intended to check on the children at 9:30 p.m. but Matthew Oldfield, one of their family friends that was with them, offered to go instead while he was checking on his own children. He noticed that the McCann children's bedroom door was wide open, but after hearing no noise, he left 5A without looking far enough into the bedroom to see whether Madeleine was there. He could not recall whether or not the bedroom window and its exterior shutter were open at this point. Madeleine's mother did make her own check to 5A at 10 p.m. that night. Kate recalled entering the apartment through the unlocked patio door to the back. She immediately noticed that their bedroom door was wide open. She also noticed the window and exterior shutter was open. Madeleine's cuddle cat and pink blanket were still on the bed, but Madeleine was gone. After briefly searching the apartment, Kate ran back towards the restaurant, screaming that Madeleine is gone and someone had taken her. At around 10 minutes past 10, Madeleine's father sent Matthew Oldfield to ask the resort's reception desk to call the police, and at 10:30 the resort activated its missing child search protocol. 60 staff and guests searched until 4:30 in the morning, at first assuming that Madeleine had wandered off. Lots of mistakes were made directly after her disappearance. Police did not do house-to-house searches. They were also not given a description of of what Madeleine looked like for many hours. Police had also not requested motorway surveillance pictures of vehicles leaving Praia da Luz on the night of the disappearance. They only put up roadblocks the next morning at 10 am. Not everyone in the resort at the time was interviewed. The crime scene was not secured. Apartment 5A was rented out 2 more times before police could get samples from Madeleine's room. The investigation was off to a bad start and never really recovered, but there was a few leads and suspects that we will discuss now. At 9:15, Jane Tanner, one of the McCann's family friends, saw a man carrying a young child near Madeleine's room. The child in the man's arms was wearing light-colored pajamas with a floral pattern similar to Madeleine's. She described the man, white, dark-haired, 5 feet 7 inches or 1.7 meters tall, of Southern European or Mediterranean appearance, roughly 35 to 40 years old, wearing gold and beige trousers and a jacket, and he did not look like a tourist. In October 2013, the police said that a British holidaymaker had been identified as the man Tanner had seen. He had been returning to his apartment after collecting his daughter from the Ocean Club night crash. They took photographs of the man wearing the same or similar clothes to the ones he was wearing on the night, and standing in a pose similar to the one Tanner reported. The pajamas his daughter had been wearing also matched Tanner's report. That rules out that suspect. At 10 p.m. on the night of Madeleine's disappearance, Mary and Martin Smith saw a man nearly 460 meters or 500 yards away from Madeleine's apartment. He was carrying a girl aged 3 to 4 years old. She had blonde hair and pale skin, was wearing light-colored pajamas, and had bare feet. The man was in his mid-30s, 5 feet 7 inches to 5 feet 9 inches, or 1.75 meters to 1.8. He also did not look like a tourist, according to the Smiths, and he seemed very uncomfortable carrying the child. He was walking away from 5A and towards the beach. Another early suspect was Robert Murat. Robert was born in Hammersmith, West London. Murat lived in his mother's house, which is 150 yards or 137 meters from apartment 5A. His house was in the same direction that a man was walking at Mary and Martin Smith saw. Robert was initially signed up as an official translator because he spoke both English and Portuguese. He stated that he wanted to help since he had a daughter of Madeleine's age back in England. 12 days after the disappearance of Madeleine, 34-year-old Robert Murat became a suspect. A journalist told the police Murat had been asking a lot of questions about the case. Murat told police that he had been home all night on the night that Madeleine disappeared. This was proven a lie, however. 3 of the family friends of the McCanns, Fiona Payne, Russell O'Brien, and Rachel Oldfield, said they had seen Murat outside apartment 5A shortly after the disappearance. This would not have been very surprising since he lived so close, but because he lied about it, it made him a suspect. Murat's home was searched, the pool drained, his cars, computers, phones, and videotapes examined, his garden searched using ground radar and sniffer dogs, and 2 of his associates questioned. There was nothing to link Murat or his friends to the disappearance, so his status as a suspect was lifted. In 2017, Murat's mother, Jenny Murat, added her voice to those who had witnessed suspicious events around 5A that night. She told the BBC that she had driven past apartment 5A that night and had seen a young woman in a plum-colored top behaving suspiciously just outside it, information she said she passed to the police at the time. She also said she had seen a small brown rental car speeding toward the apartment, driving the wrong way down a one-way street. Witnesses described men behaving oddly near apartment 5A in the days leading up to the disappearance and on the day itself. There had been a 4-fold increase in local burglaries between January and May 2007, including 2 in a McCann's block in the 17 days before the disappearance, during which burglars had entered through windows. On 25 or 26 April, the tourist who rented apartment 5A before the McCanns encountered a man on his balcony who had entered via the steps from the street. Polite and clean-shaven, the visitor asked for money for an orphanage. On the day of the disappearance, 3 May, there were 4 charity collections by 2 men in the streets around 5A. At 4 p.m., 2 black-haired men approached a British homeowner looking for funds for a hostel or hospice, and at 5 p.m., 2 men approached another British tourist with a similar story. The police believe all of this was done in preparation for robberies or abductions. The parents of Madeleine was also suspects in her disappearance. One of the reasons given was there was a lot of inconsistencies between the statements. The police also questioned why Madeleine's mother left the twins alone in 5A after she found out Madeleine disappeared. They questioned why she ran to the restaurant instead of using her cell phone or shouting from the balcony to the group. Her shouts of they have taken her was also viewed with suspicion, as though she had paved the way for an abduction story. All of the suspicion eventually led to a theory that Madeleine had died in apartment 5A as a result of an accident, perhaps after being sedated to help her stay asleep. That her parents had hidden her body for a month before retrieving her and driving her to an unknown place in a car they had hired over 3 weeks after the disappearance. On the 28th of June, the McCanns suggested to the police to request help from Danny Krugel. Krugel was a former South African police officer who developed a matter orientation system. It was a handheld device that he claimed could locate missing people using DNA and satellites. Madeleine's parents sent him eyelashes and hair collected from their family home in the UK. Krugel arrived in Praia da Luz on the 15th of July. He told the McCanns that his equipment picked up a static signal in an area of the beach near the Rocha Negra cliff. The police at this point very much believed that Madeleine's parents were responsible for Madeleine's disappearance. They therefore did not look into Danny Krugel's findings. What do you think happened to Madeleine McCann? Do you think it was Robert Murat, or one of the men asking for donations? Or do you think it was her parents, and they had accidentally killed her in apartment 5A? Let me know down in the comment section below.